Welcome, everybody. We're here.
Hello,
We were waiting
people of
because
the
it
web.
seemed like there was nobody here, but apparently there are people here. So,
Are
really,
there people here?
apparently there's like two people here.
Hello, two people.
Joe is not with us. We don't actually know where he is. He may be dead. That's very possible.
We lost Joe in the process
Somewhere.
along the way, but it's
So,
okay.
mhm.
It's
so
a-okay.
we're here now. Yeah. This review session is going to go very quickly if nobody asks questions. Um,
Very, very quickly. Am I frozen on the
your
screen?
life is frozen.
Hmm.
Oh, Leo, you were looking. I see what the problem is. So, Leo, this is the one that I was looking at, which had.
Yeah, this one used to have it, but it doesn't have it anymore.
No, last update was made by.
Why is the stream frozen on my face like this? You should Oh wait, it was. Not anymore. Not anymore though. We're okay.
We're good. I fixed it.
Oh.
I didn't even realize it was frozen.
No, it's okay. It's not your fault. It's very
Where
it's very
is the
funny.
right thing? All right. Can I get a quick attendance check? Is there anyone actually here?
We need attendance now? Wow. I feel like we're in high school.
We used to do attendance.
Really?
There's one person here. I'll take it.
Try hard. I'll take it. We'll take what we can get.
Okay, but like, actually, where are my slides?
You had them before.
I
I
think
don't know
they're
where you left them.
in here, here. No. Ah, I was here. We found. It was a different lecture than. You see? Do you see the problem now, Leo?
Let me see. You see, you gotta remove the it's fine. It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
good enough.
We're
Okay,
okay.
we found the things that we needed to find.
The
It
important
took
things.
way too long to find these things. Let us begin with these things. Okay. Let's start here. So we went over stack last week. We're gonna do a super quick go over stack and heap, and then we're gonna do a super quick go over the other thing. Classes and objects, I think. Is that a thing we did? Let's go find out.
We went over it. We went over objects, but not classes.
So we'll no. We're good.
Yes? No?
We're good. They even
No,
said
yes?
inheritance and polymorphism. We can do classes and objects. We can definitely do inheritance. I don't want to touch polymorphism yet.
We're definitely not going to touch polymorphism. I
Because
mean,
we
we
can
could.
do we know we look here. We can do poly and state pattern.
Oh,
This
okay.
next week.
Okay.
Okay.
That works.
Okay. So Leo is going to talk about stack and heap.
Yes.
Leo.
I will talk about stack and heap. All right. So, what is memory? Memory is RAM. No, you cannot download more RAM off your computer. You will need RAM is just a storage device or a random access memory that is inside of your computer. It is inside of most of your computers, if not all of your computers. Next slide, please. While Logan eats. And cool. Memory's cool. But what can we do with it? So, we have a stack. A stack is basically like a stack of plates. A stack of plates is you stack plates one on top of another, and you will take the first plate off of the top. A heap is just a bunch of random stuff, random plates, random cups, random things, and they're stored basically anywhere you want, and they have no ordering. Whereas a stack will have order. Next.
This is legitimately no next slide.
Yeah, there's literally no next slide.
So
Yep. Basically, think of stack as a way of setting up your method calls and your primitive types, such as an int, a double, a long, I was going to say a string, but a string is not on the stack. And a heap is basically where like random points in memory that stores data for you. So, for example, you can store lists, maps, and strings on the heap, and each heap will have its own memory address pointing to a specific pointing to a specific point in memory. Basically, all you need to know for heap is that there's random stuff. There's stuff randomly stored somewhere on the RAM. End of story. That's all you need to know.
and it's the stuff that's not stored on the stack.
Yeah, and stuff that's not stored on the stack.
So it's like classes and objects and strings.
Yep. Oh yeah, and classes are also stored on the heap, which is something you guys are definitely gonna enjoy because you literally just talked about classes. So, with that being said, we can go into
we go to this one, and we're gonna come back to that one.
And we will go into classes. So, Logan, would you like to go over classes?
Sure. So classes, right? Let's talk about we used objects previously in our 116 lives, right? We used them in some of the first stuff we made. We use them a bunch of point of sale. You'll see. Do that too. So when you create a new object from a class using the new keyword. Do I talk about classes here at all? I do. I just talked about instantiating that first. Okay, so
yeah, you just talk about making them basically.
Okay, so objects are an instantiated version of a class. Now, what is a class? Well, a class is a template of making an object. An object's a way we run code. It's a way we store different things. It's how we make things. So the class is like a template for an object. An object is one of the basic building blocks, right? So classes are the way we create new data types, which are objects. This is roughly correct. New objects from classes are instantiated using new keywords. So we have this class called team, right? Which we have the Mets, the Raptors, the Chargers, and the Bills. I don't know how many times I've read this presentation. I think Angelus is spelled wrong.
I think you've read it like maybe 5 semesters now, and you still have never changed the picture to fix Angelus.
Nope. So Los Angeles Chargers, and they are all of type team, right? And the way we assign a team is we say new and then the name team, and then we give it the parameters that we want. These are called constructors. When we're making a new class, these parameters that we use to make them, we use to construct. They're called constructors. I don't know who would have guessed that, but sure. So classes have constructors. Constructors are variables that are needed to construct the class. So those are these. So val offense and val defense. These are both the constructors that are part of the class, right? Classes also have. I don't like the way I use the word state in here. There's no writer thing. Forget the word state is there. Classes also have class variables, we'll call them. Class variables are variables that are included inside of the class. Right? So what's a class variable in here? Score is going to be the class variable, right? And then classes can also have functions in it. These functions are called using dot function parameter syntax, the same way we call any other function on a string or an array or whatever, right? So internally, inside the class, this looks like def home run, where you take in run scored as an integer, returns a unit, and all it does is it increments the score. And the way it looks like that when you're calling it from the class, remember we instantiated New York Mets as a class before, as an object, we instantiated a version of the class. So I can call it dot home run all this, and I can input run scored. So we show it here, right? So this is our class function, and this is how we call it. Oh, I think this is okay. So what in here? Can you tell me what the constructors are that are in here? You as in the Twitch chat that is here. There's at least 2 people here.
Whatever people are here, please tell us.
I don't
We
want to be
want to
lonely.
see if you get it. I've been meaning to dust off my desk and my keyboard, and I don't do it. Maybe not now. Probably not now. Maybe another time.
Putting an emoji again is not an answer to what are the constructors in this class.
I wonder if that's a literal student or if it's just some person who just tuned in.
I don't know, man.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was just a student who just turned in? Just an individual who's just here.
All right. Well, I'm going to assume that no one's going to respond to me then, so I will respond to my own questions now. So val first name, which is a string, and val last name, which are strings. These are the two constructors that we have, right? Our class variable is going to be full name here, right? That we make inside, which is full name plus last name. Again, pretend that doesn't say state. Pretend it says class. And then our functions that we're going to have, right, are print full name, which will just print a full name. So this is one of those things that works really well when we're in person, works less well when we're online, but I'm going to leave it up for a moment and then we will talk about the answer. I'm not going to give you time to do it right now. You should do it on your own time, which is creating a class. So we're going to create a class called baseball team, which is going to mimic the data type of a baseball team. So it's got to have all these things in it. So the first constructor argument is a list of strings with player names in the string. The second constructor argument is the name of the team. You'll have a third constructor, which is the location of the team. A state variable, which is a list of a class variable, which is a list of integers, in which the index of 0 is wins and the index of 1 is losses. A class variable that creates a string holding a location, a space, and then the team name, i.e. New York as location, and then Mets as the team name. A method to add wins, a method to add losses, and a method that prints the location and team name string. So I'm going to pause for a moment. And then I'm going to go to what the answer for this is, and you can do this on your own at another time. So this is what that should look like. Right? We have our constructor, which is the list of players, list of strings. We have our team name. We have our location. We have a record, which is a list of integers, which has two integers in it. The first column we said was going to be wins, the second one being loss. We have a variable called full name that has the full name of the team stored, right? We have a way to increase wins by adding to the record, adding to the 0th index in the record. We have a way to increase losses by adding to the first index in the record. And we have a way to print the name of the team. Okay, we already talked about this.
Yep, we already talked about unit testing.
Okay, so now we double back again for inheritance.
Now we go back. Welcome inheritance. This is gonna get. This is a topic that gets super confused every single year, or every single semester.
It is.
I just realized.
Yep.
And we will try to help you. All right. Inheritance. What is inheritance? Why is inheritance what it is? Is the question. I'm trying to sound philosophical, but it's so useless. It's just not. It's not worth it. Yeah, it's just not good. All right. Inheritance is an object-oriented programming concept. It basically will allow programmers to create classes with generic methods and variables, and then other classes can extend that class and inherit all of those variables and methods from the superclass. And you can take those methods and make them specific to what that specific class is trying to do. So basically, what this means in English is saying there is a big class that has very basic things, and then there is a smaller class or a smaller subset of a class that wants to take those very basic things and make it specific to their own class. So I hope, I don't think there's going to be any questions because there's not a lot of people watching, but hopefully that explains what inheritance and taking from a superclass means. And we actually have an example of that on the next slide, I believe. It's the next slide. Yep. So let's decide. Let's just make a class called ball. Notice that we call the class with abstract, which means that we're basically making it a super class. The abstract is what makes it the super class. It's a super generic thing. We have just a ball, any ball.
Doesn't matter
For
what
the
ball.
Yeah, doesn't matter what ball, just the ball. Anyways, we have the variables length. We have the variables. Wait, is that diameter? Hold
It
up.
is,
I
yes.
I I can't see. It's so hard. Okay, length, diameter, weight, which are all doubles. Then you have it's okay.
I
Which
don't
are
know
all
what these were
doubles.
supposed to be pointing to,
Yeah,
so
I don't know what they were supposed to be pointing
I
to
think
either.
it's that.
Yeah. Anyways, we have the variables length, diameter, weight, which are all doubles. And by the way, I noticed this in lab as well. Just because we don't specify the type, Scala will know that it's a double.
Mm-hmm.
So please uh don't think you need this type. You don't, but we highly recommend to put it in your code because it helps you understand your code way more. Anyways, moving on, we have the name, which is going to be empty because it's just a ball. Nobody cares about what it is. Then we have a random, which, if you don't know, this imports scala.util random is where you can get random numbers and just basically just an RNG, which is a random number generator. So it'll put we will instantiate a new object of random, and then we will define a method called throwBall, which will take in no parameters and will return a string. And will do nothing but throw a ball into somebody's face or the basket or the goal.
All
Technically,
right,
you can't throw the ball into a goal, but you know,
kick it. It's whatever.
yeah,
So,
okay.
so these are all of our variables that are inside the class that you can access, right? And this is our method that you can access this inside the class. So now we have football and baseball, which are specific types of balls, right? So now, what did I do? I did something Spotify. Don't worry about it. So now, right, we have a football and we've got a baseball. And now we say class football extends ball. So we say that this is a more specific version of ball, which is a generic version, right? So now in here, we're going to reassign these variables. So name now actually equals football. Weight is equal to 425 grams. Diameter is equal to 7 inches. Length is equal to 11 inches. And we're going to override this function to actually do something. We're going to say, instead of doing whatever you were supposed to, which in this case was nothing, we're going to override this, and instead we will do something. So this is all this is going to do is choose a randomized like string from this list and print it. Just return it. It just returns a randomized string from this list.
It
So
does not
sometimes
print.
it'll return lob, sometimes it'll return Hail Mary, sometimes Spire. Baseball works the same way. Baseball is a more specific type of the generic ball. It has a name, which is baseball. It has a weight, which is 149 grams. It has a diameter of 3 inches and a length of 3 inches. It overrides throw ball with, again, the same thing, a list of strings that we choose a random one from. So for curveball, screwball, fastball, and slider. So this on the right, actually, hold up. This on the right is our generic class. This is our abstract class. And these are the more specific classes. And these classes on the left side inherit all of their variables and their functions from the abstract class, right? The abstract class acts as a template for these. So let's talk about another type of ball, right? We gave an example on the last one on making classes and stuff on making a team, making a baseball team. So this time we're gonna look at making a ball. So this inherits. So we're gonna make a basketball, right? It inherits everything from ball. We know it's spherical and has a diameter of 9.4 inches. It weighs 623 grams, and you can do these moves with a basketball. So the question is, how would that look as a class? So this is the time in which you pause the VOD because there's all three people actually here. This is the time where you pause the VOD and make the class. And now we're going to wait a moment. And now we go to the next slide. So basketball would look like this. So it's a class basketball. It extends the generic version, which is ball. It has a name, which is basketball. It has a weight, which is 623. It has diameter, which is 9.4, and a length, which is 9.4. It's spherical, so the diameter and length will be the same. And we can throw the ball, so we can do jump shot, hook shot, slam dunk, and layup. And we can use the same way that we did that before by accessing a random integer of the list. That is the end of the slideshow.
Yep. That's
So
really it.
here's the question: Does anyone understand? Does anyone have any questions that are not like that might be a little bit more specific than what we just went over, or something like that? Now is question time.
Probably. There's probably not a lot of people because they're all working on Pale Blue Dot, I would hope.
It's due on Friday, I think.
Yep, due on Friday. Which we haven't talked about the homework review session, right?
No, I'll put on so
Okay.
tomorrow. Maybe.
Got it. Got it. Try to get my work done before then too. So there are no questions at all. Oh, we got another viewer.
One person. One person that just joined. Do you have any questions?
The one person two people. I am sorry. The two people that have just joined, do you have any questions? In relation to classes, inheritance, and heap.
Or heap?
And there's no more 6 people. Oh wait, never mind. I lied. I possibly lied.
Absolute liar.
I'm an absolute liar. All right, well, there seems to be no questions, sadly.
All right, we're gonna wait around another 3 or 4 minutes, and if we don't get questions by that point, then we're gonna get going, and this will be up as a metric of if you'd like to watch it as a later point.
Yep. But watching at a later point without questions is kind of redundant, I would say.
It's less helpful.
Yeah.
That's why we
Less
ask
helpful.
people for questions.
Yeah. Either way, I have a meeting at 4 anyway.
And this works out well for you, man.
Yeah, this works out really well for me. Do, 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 do. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at what Logan's doing right now. It's hilarious.
You know what I'm doing.
No, I know exactly what you're doing.
Is it this?
Yes, it is. It is. You have wow. Okay,
What?
you have many emails.
Let's correct it. Do
Many
it.
emails.
Alright. This is Leo. You remember like the really really difficult one?
Yeah,
This is it.
the flags of the world. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Actually move, so like it's kind of helpful this time.
Uh, well,
That's
okay.
Yeah, I mean that works. Let's just say we're like here. That's pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Good job. Is there any questions at all before we end this review session? It's gonna be really sad to post this up, honestly.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 3 people that watch this too.
Yeah, it's gonna be awful.
I know what country it's in. I think. I'm like, what in the hell? Where did? Why does that look like that? All right, we're gonna
I
get
don't know.
going because no one's asked a
Yeah.
single question.
Not a single question has been asked. This is crazy.
We've reviewed the things.
Yeah, that's
Goodbye.
true. Goodbye, people.